Ladies and gentlemen, what a night it was in the world of professional wrestling. The long-awaited WWE NXT vs. TNA Showdown finally delivered one of the most unforgettable nights in recent wrestling history. From shocking eliminations to jaw-dropping teamwork, the women's division stole the spotlight with a match that fans are calling a new chapter in interpromotional excellence. In the end, it was the WWE NXT women's team that came out on top, and the last two women standing were none other than Jacy Jayne and Ruca, the sole survivors who sealed the victory in style. Tonight, we're diving deep into every moment, from the intense build-up to the emotional aftermath, and why this match could change the future of women's wrestling forever. Pre-match hype and storyline build-up. The WWE Universe had been buzzing for weeks leading up to the NXT vs. TNA Showdown. Fans across both brands were intrigued, and a little nostalgic, about seeing two legendary wrestling worlds collide again. After the success of crossover events like NXT Battleground and TNA Multiverse United, this particular night promised to be special. But no one quite expected how fierce the women's showdown match would become. The match was announced as a 5-on-5 elimination tag, bringing together some of the top names from both promotions. On the NXT side, the lineup featured Jacy Jayne, Ruca, Roxanne Perez, Lash Legend, and Thea Hale. Representing TNA were Jordynne Grace, Giselle Shaw, Tasha Steelz, Killer Kelly, and Masha Slamovich, a team packed with power, speed, and experience. Social media exploded with predictions. Fans on X, formerly Twitter, were split right down the middle. Some predicted TNA's powerhouse duo of Jordynne Grace and Masha Slamovich would bulldoze through the opposition, while others believed the chemistry of the NXT women would carry them through. Opening moments, a clash of styles. As the bell rang, the arena atmosphere was electric. The crowd was on its feet, chanting, "NXT, NXT," followed by an echo of, "TNA, TNA," creating a sound that truly symbolized the respect between both brands. The match kicked off with Roxanne Perez and Tasha Steelz locking up first, a technical battle that displayed crisp mat wrestling and slick reversals. Perez's agility matched Steelz's ring IQ perfectly. But things quickly escalated. Killer Kelly tagged in early, bringing her brutal, submission-heavy offense to wear down the smaller Perez. Moments later, Ruca entered and wowed the crowd with her athleticism, delivering that signature Saul Snatcher handspring cutter that nearly took Kelly's head off. First elimination, Lash Legend steps up. The first major turning point came when Lash Legend used her sheer power to eliminate Tasha Steelz. After a brutal pump kick that echoed through the arena, Lash covered Steelz for the 3 count, giving NXT the early advantage. TNA didn't take that lightly. Seconds later, Jordynne Grace, the powerhouse and current TNA Knockouts champion, charged into the ring and unleashed a storm. A spinebuster here, a backbreaker there, and suddenly, Lash Legend found herself overwhelmed. After a thunderous Grace driver, Jordynne pinned Lash to even the score at 4-4. The match intensity skyrocketed from that moment. Mid-match mayhem, chaos everywhere. As the match wore on, the women tore into each other with everything they had. Giselle Shaw hit a stunning running knee on Thea Hale, while Masha Slamovich laid waste to anyone in her path. The referee could barely keep control. At one point, all 10 women were in the ring, trading finishers in a wild sequence that had the crowd screaming. In the chaos, Roxanne Perez managed to roll up Giselle Shaw with a surprise pin, eliminating her and giving NXT a 4-3 lead. But Masha Slamovich wasn't done. With cold precision, she hit Roxanne Perez with the snow plow, leveling the score once again at 3-3. Every elimination brought louder chants, near falls, and disbelief. The energy in the building was off the charts. Final stretch, survivors rise. As we reached the final act, only Jacy Jayne, Ruca, and Thea Hale remained for NXT. On the TNA side, it was Jordynne Grace, Masha Slamovich, and Killer Kelly. Thea Hale, showing incredible heart, refused to back down despite being the smallest in the ring. She countered a suplex from Killer Kelly into a DDT that nearly stole a fall, but Kelly's experience proved too much. After a brutal sleeper hold, Thea had no choice but to tap out. Now it was 2-0-3. But Jacy Jayne, the cunning strategist of the group, saw her opening. After distracting the referee, she tagged Ruca back in and delivered a surprise running knee to Killer Kelly's jaw, allowing Saul to hit a breathtaking Saul Snatcher from the top rope. Kelly was out cold, and suddenly, the odds were even again. The crowd erupted as chants of, "This is awesome," filled the air. Jordynne Grace dominates, then falls. With only Jacy Jayne, Sol Ruca, Jordynne Grace, and Masha Slamovich left, the tension was unreal. Grace was on fire, taking out both NXT stars with power moves, including a brutal double lariat that nearly knocked them unconscious. But in wrestling, timing is everything. Grace went for her Grace driver on Jacy Jayne, but Jacy countered with a sudden superkick, and Sol Ruca followed it up instantly with another Sol snatcher. The crowd counted along, 1, 2, 3, and just like that, Jordynne Grace was eliminated. Fans couldn't believe it. The Knockouts champion had just been pinned clean in the middle of the ring. Final showdown, Masha vs. NXT's rising stars. That left only Masha Slamovich, one of the most dangerous women in all of professional wrestling, against two NXT stars, Jacy Jayne and Sol Ruca. Masha smiled as if she knew what was coming. She absorbed punch after punch, refusing to stay down. She nailed Sol with a vicious lariat, nearly taking her head off, and then turned to face Jacy Jayne. But teamwork once again proved the difference. Jayne distracted Masha long enough for Sol to recover, and together they executed a stunning double-team combination, Jayne's kick into Ruca's cutter, that finally kept Slamovich down for the 3 count. The bell rang, and the crowd exploded in cheers as the referee raised the hands of Jacy Jayne and Sol Ruca, the sole survivors of the women's WWE NXT vs. TNA Showdown. Aftermath and reaction. The victory was more than just a win for NXT. It was a statement. Jacy Jayne, once known for her villainous tactics, has slowly been transforming into one of the smartest and most adaptable wrestlers in NXT. Meanwhile, Sol Ruca's performance proved she's not just an athletic marvel, she's the future face of the women's division. Backstage, cameras caught both women embracing their teammates, tears in their eyes, as the NXT locker room applauded. On social media, fans couldn't stop talking about the match. Greater than that women's showdown was match of the night. Sol Ruca just proved she's ready for the main roster. TNA's women brought the fight, but Jacy and Sol stole the show. Even legends like Trish Stratus and Gail Kim posted praise online, calling the event a celebration of women's wrestling across generations. What this means going forward? This match might have bigger implications than anyone realizes. For one, the success of this event shows that collaboration between promotions can create magic, something fans have wanted for years. The chemistry between the NXT and TNA rosters opened doors for more dream matches in the future. There's already talk of a rematch, possibly featuring new teams or stipulations. Some insiders believe WWE could use this momentum to bring select TNA stars into future NXT storylines, maybe even a full crossover series. As for Jacy Jayne and Sol Ruca, their stock has skyrocketed overnight. Reports suggest that Shawn Michaels and Triple H were both thrilled with the performance, and there's already chatter about giving both women a significant push heading into the next NXT Premium Live event. Conclusion. The women's showdown between WWE NXT and TNA wasn't just another wrestling match, it was history in motion. It reminded the world why women's wrestling has become one of the most exciting, emotional, and competitive aspects of the sport. And when the dust settled, two young stars, Jacy Jayne and Sol Ruca, stood tall, proving that passion, teamwork, and perseverance can outshine even the toughest opponents. Fans will remember this night not just for the winners, but for what it represented, a celebration of unity, rivalry, and evolution in professional wrestling.